Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell in the upper right-hand corner. Follow me on all forms of social media. Check me out at thatdrummerguy.com and enjoy the following presentation. One 1,000. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for taking time to do this interview.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, awesome. Well, of course, we're here to talk about the brand new album from Gatecreeper, Deserted, which is coming out October 4th through Relapse. I've gotten the chance to be able to check out this album over the course of the last week or so, and I just really love where you guys have progressed over the last few years, and it's great to see that culmination happening here with Deserted. I mean, it just feels like such an amazing album to come out in 2019.
Awesome. I'm glad you like it.
Oh, definitely. So, with that in mind, how did the songwriting process begin for Deserted?
Well, since this is our second full-length album as a band, this is the first time we've had the opportunity to sit down and, write a batch of songs that are specifically for this record. Your first record is kind of a culmination of songs from when you start as a band until, you're able to put out your first full-length. So this one was a more concentrated approach to writing an album itself, if that makes sense. So we've improved as a band over the past, since our last record came out or from when we started as a band. We've kind of gotten more concise with what we're trying to do. We were able to listen back to our old record and kind of pick out what we didn't like or what we wanted to improve upon or what we wanted to add in to make it a little bit better. So, the songs are all written the same as they always have, but I think we've just gotten better at what we do.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so important too. As much as I do love the debut album, it really feels like Deserted just feels like a natural progression for the band. Both in the production, the songwriting, and just like the overall vibe of the band. Everything just feels so much stronger this time around.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like I said, I think we've just gotten better as a band. We're not a progressive band. We're not really an experimental band. Our influences are pretty obvious, pretty clear. And instead of trying to do something that's completely different, because we're not delusional. We know we're not trying to do anything groundbreaking. We're not trying to blaze a new path and try. We're just trying to do what we do and do it really well and make songs that we like and make songs that others will like and hopefully want to listen to repeatedly. And yeah, I think that it is stronger. For me and for the songs that I wrote for it and the parts that I think it's our best work. My vocals on it, I think, have gotten much better than the last record. And it's something that I didn't. It's not fully a conscious effort. It's just one of those things that comes along with this touring. We toured for 3 years basically after the last record, and we got to tour with Cannibal Corpse and other bands, and just picking up from those bands and bands we look up to. There was a lot to soak in over the past couple years, and I think it's a better, stronger version of Gatecreeper, and definitely the strongest release yet.
Yeah, and I'm so glad to see that too. With as much as you guys did get the tour behind the debut album, and just like you said, you got the tour with Cannibal Corpse, you got to tour with so many great bands, you got to do so many cool splits in the meantime as well too. It's just it's so cool to see that a new LP is like really showing off where you guys are at now. And I also gotta imagine when with upcoming touring that is going to be happening, it's going to be great to be able to play some new songs live.
Yeah, that is actually another thing, when writing the record and after, doing a lot of touring, we were able to write a record and with in mind some of this, what we wanted to play live. We figured out what works live for us. So there's definitely some parts on the record where we wrote it with the intention, like this is going to be awesome when we play this live. When this part hits live, it's really going to go off. And on the other side of that, there's some songs on the record, like the very last song, Absence of Light. We'll probably never play that song live just because it's slower. It serves its purpose on the record. We were able to, there's like a very specific beginning and end to the record. But yeah, we know it works live, so we're excited to play those songs that we intentionally wrote to play live.
And that's what's great to see with a band like Gatecreeper is you know the songs that will work out great in that live setting, but you're also not afraid for people to actually go out and buy the album and have those songs to listen to in the album setting as well too, because Absence of Light is one of my favorite tracks on the album, but I totally understand why it might not work in that live setting, but as for an album closer, it just works perfectly.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite songs too on the record. I'm glad you like it.
Oh, totally. So, earlier you were mentioning about how you're feeling stronger as a singer and a vocalist now. I mean, how was it starting to write the lyrics and getting into the studio on your end for the album?
I mean, it was kind of a little bit overwhelming. I mean, because live I just do vocals, but I actually write a lot of it on guitar too. I didn't actually play any guitar on this record, but all of the records in the past I've played some guitar and some at least on a couple songs or something like that on it. But me and Eric, the guitar player, me and him write all the songs. We wrote all the songs for this album. So there was the long process of writing the songs, which is just instrumental wise. So we got we got the whole record done instrumental wise, and then it was my turn to finish it off with the vocals. As I'm writing the vocals for it, maybe I'll go back and maybe change a little bit of the song structure just to fit a little bit better. But for the most part, it's done, and then I get to kind of put the finishing touches on with the vocals. I've always tried to make it so, for our band, it's always like more about the riffs. So I want the vocals to be complementary to it, not just slather, vocals over every single part. Like I want to let the riffs or the music breathe a little bit when it should. So I kind of see it as like another instrument on top of it. It's like lead guitar or something like that. And on that note, I wanted to make the vocals more dynamic. So I think that's just been a progression of, because that's how I've been doing it live, or I've gotten into doing it like a little bit more varied. But when I listen back to the last record and to this one, my vocals are definitely more, I don't know, they're more dynamic, I guess. And this is the first record that I've printed the lyrics in, so I've definitely gotten more confident as the singer of the band.
Yeah, and it's great to hear that too. And both from being a musician on all ends, whether you're writing the songs on guitar or you're just writing the lyrics or singing or whatever the case is. I mean, it's great to see that you're able to handle so many hats in the band and make sure that what riffs are going to work out right along with Eric, making for the right songs for Gatecreeper, and then also focusing on making sure that the vocals are complementary to that too. And again, throughout Deserted from start to finish, I mean, it just feels so natural between the riffs and the vocal lines. I mean, it's great to hear that and hear that progression.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a conscious effort for when we're writing the music. I believe that even before that there's lyrics on there or vocals on there, like I think, just the way that we write music with the riffs, like every riff needs to be able to stand on its own. We kind of trim the fat off of everything, so it's like we don't want to have any filler parts in there. So every part that we keep in the song, which makes it so our songs are they're not short, but they're definitely not long. Like some metal bands or death metal bands are pretty concise, so everything is there for a reason.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, every song feels like it's the right length on this album too, and I don't think there's anything past like 5.5 minutes on this album, and it feels natural for it, and I could see that happening in the future with this band too. It's like if you decide to do something even longer than that in the future, like if you it went double the length. I mean, I'm sure you guys would know that if you ever did a song like that, it would have to feel natural for that kind of song length. Yeah. So it's great to see that is in mind as well here.
Yeah, and I mean we kind of use that same idea live too. I mean, for me personally, when I go see a band, like I don't really want to see a band play for more than 45 minutes at the most, especially if it's like a fast or very intense band. Like 30 minutes, I'm good. So we try to do the same thing live, where it's like I would rather leave people wanting more than people get sick of us playing. So that's the idea of our record and our songs too. Like I would rather someone the record to be over, the song to be over, and someone just like, oh wow, I'm gonna listen to that again, rather than be like, oh wow, the song is still going.
Oh yeah, totally. And anytime that I've been able to see you guys live, I mean, it always feels like it's that great sense of whether it's like the very first band or an opening act. I mean, yeah, I mean, you guys got that down for what songs work in that live setting, and you've always left me wanting more. So being able to add a new LP's worth of music and choosing the right songs off the new album to be able to play in that live setting, I know it's going to be the same thing going on. That it's just going to be a perfect set that's going to leave me wanting more.
I hope so.
And with that in mind too, I mean, you guys got an amazing tour that's going to be coming up soon. I mean, how does it feel to be able to tour so soon after the album coming out?
I mean, we wanted to. I mean, like we mentioned earlier, for the last record, we got to do a lot of good support tours. We got to open for a lot of bands and play for a lot of new people. Whether it's Cannibal Corpse or with Nails, or our first tour when their last record came out was with Skeleton Witch and Iron Reagan. We supported Pallbearer. We supported Dying Fetus and Incantation. So I think that, I know that was a really good thing for our band. So for this, we knew, since we pretty much taken all this year off of playing shows so that we could finish the record. But it's always been our plan that, okay, with the new record, we need to go out and do our own tour. So there was a lot of time planning out a tour, and it kind of worked out that Exhumed's record is actually coming out the same day as ours. So we're doing a co-headline tour, and I think it's really important for metal, especially in the fall time, put together a good package, have 3 or 4 good bands on a tour, because everybody's touring during that time. And if you don't have a good package, then someone else is going to. And, people don't have unlimited money to go to see every show that comes into their town. So if you don't have a good set of bands playing your show and it's just you and, say it was just us, then whatever local bands, and maybe someone would be like, oh, I'm going to save my money and I'm going to go see this other package tour that has, 4 good bands that I wanted to see. So it was I'm glad the way that it worked out, and I think that the tour is going to be awesome.
Oh, totally. And last night I just got the new Exhumed album as well, and that is a killer album as well. And it's great to see that 2 albums like this are coming out on the same day, and then just a little before a month after those albums are coming out, that you guys are able to tour behind that album, let people get familiar with both albums, and then go out and hear a lot of those songs live. I mean, it's just it's a great combination seeing you 2 play together, because you guys are different enough, but it's gonna make a lot of sense in the long run why you guys are doing a tour together. And it's my kind of night where it's diverse, but it all makes sense.
Yeah, you don't want to. It's good to have some variance. You don't want to go see several bands that all sound exactly the same. But it's good to tour with a band that you have a little bit of overlap of an audience, but also there may be people that are coming to see Exhumed that have never seen us before, and they'll watch us play and they'll become Gatecreeper fans. And the same for Exhumed. Maybe there be some people at the show that are coming to see us and they've never seen Exhumed, and they'll watch Exhumed, and then they'll be Exhumed fans now too. So that's the goal of having a touring with other cool bands. So I think it's going to work out for everybody.
Oh, totally. And getting back into this album, most specifically the album cover, I absolutely love this thing. I mean, it just looks like a great representation visually of what this album is all about, and there's just so much to digest with the album cover. Where did this come from, and how did it come to be the album cover?
So the album artist is Brad Moore. We wanted to have a full color painting for the album cover. I mean, our last record, we had a cool painting. It was, a real painted by hand, cool painting, originally made for our album cover. I think that for death metal, I think one of the traditional, very fundamental way to present your album is with a really cool painting on the cover. All my favorite classic death metal albums, a lot of them have the Dan Seagrave album art. He did all the December, Tombs, Suffocation. He did a bunch of cool stuff. So for me, a death metal full length has a cool painting on it. So it took a little while to find the right person that we wanted to do it. And once I came across across Brad Moore's work, I contacted him and he was interested, and I worked with him for probably about 6 months getting that album. I contacted him before we had even recorded, and I knew the album. I know what I wanted to call the album, Deserted. I gave him the album title, and I gave him some very loose ideas and just kind of let him do his own interpretation of that, and we worked on it. He would send me some sketches, and it worked out pretty much right around the time that the album was done, and he was done with the album cover. So it just it worked out perfectly, and I think it looks really cool. I think it's going to be I try to pay attention to every little piece of the band, and the visual part of it is very important. So like same thing with the touring. Say with the album art, someone who isn't familiar with our band and they come across that album cover, or it's online or at the record store, and they don't know who we are, but they see the album art and they think it looks really cool, and hopefully they'll check out our record just based on that. And I actually got to I bought the original painting from Brad. I have that at my house. I have the actual original painting that he did, which is a really, really cool thing to have.
Oh, that is just so cool to hear that too, that you actually do have that sitting at home right now. I mean, just like everything that you guys have been able to do over the last few years, and now you actually got that physical representation of where you guys are at now. That is just so cool.
Yeah,
yeah, totally. And I couldn't agree more with you with that visual representation too, because death metal is so visual with what it is, be it the album covers, be it music videos, be it that live setting, be it the merch at a show. It's just like there's so many different ways that you can show yourself differently from other bands, other genres, other things that are going out there. And when you got something that just sounds so cool, and then you're able to make it look so cool at the same time too, I mean, it's just a great package. And again, with Deserted, it's so great to see that happening again with you guys, and I can't wait to see how everything is going to be happening for you guys in the future, coming up with the upcoming touring and everything else that's going to be going on.
Yeah. I feel like it's been a lot of work getting everything together, just because there's so much, to have the full package, or as far as a band or a release, it starts with the music, and then the physical format, and the art, and the merch, and the tour, and everything. It's a lot to do, but it's important. So now to kind of get to the phase where it's all together, it's really exciting. It's really fulfilling to put it all together, but it's a lot of work. But now it's to not looking back yet, but just kind of having it all in front of us and saying, all right, this is the whole thing that we've created. It's really exciting, and I'm excited for everybody to hear it. I'm excited to go out there and play for people. I'm excited to just because when you're making something like this, it's a gradual process, and even though it's done for us, it's done. It's all ready. Not everybody's heard it yet, or not everybody's seen it yet. So there's a lot of anticipation. So I'm in that phase right now. I'm just excited for everybody to see or to hear what we've been working on.
Oh, totally. And that's why I'm excited to be able to help promote it as well, because I truly do love what you guys have done with Deserted. I mean, not just visually, but just production wise, lyrically, songwriting wise. I mean, everything just feels like where Gatecreeper should be at in 2019, and I just love the dynamics of what's going on there. I mean, obviously, like you said, you're not a progressive experimental band. I mean, you know what you're getting into with the Gatecreeper album, but again, just that natural progression of where you guys should be in 2019 is in full display here with Deserted. And I just can't wait for everyone else to be able to check this out, and I can't wait for you guys to be coming back here to Minnesota coming up, and being able to hear the new songs live amongst everything that you've done previously in the sets past, and just being able to see where you guys are at in that live setting in 2019.
Yeah, we're excited to go back to Minneapolis. If you're at the show, come say what's up. I'd love to meet you in person.
Oh, totally. It's absolutely my plan to be there, and yeah, it's funny. It should be 2 months from today, exactly. It should be right there at 7th Street Entry, and I can't wait for that.
Oh, right on. Cool.
Oh, awesome. Well, I think that's a fantastic note to end on. And again, thank you so very much for taking this time to be able to talk to me about everything going on in the world of Gatecreeper right now. And of course, the brand new album Deserted, coming out October 4th through Relapse Records. Easily going to be one of my favorite albums of the year, right at the top, if not the top album of 2019. It's so great to hear what you guys have done with this album. I can't wait to be able to see you guys live again, and I just really appreciate you taking the time amongst this busy season of everything that's going on in the world of Gatecreeper.
Yeah, no problem. I'll see you at the show.